Night on To the Point.
Stop fire, I'm shot. I'm taking room.
A new lead in a shooting that left a Stockton police officer with serious injuries. The two men detectives are asking for your help to find. My conversation with 4 women leaders of area hospitals. Their stories about the importance of having a diverse voice in healthcare and how it could save lives. And a section of a major highway set to reopen on time, but drivers are still frustrated by the closure. Caltrans explaining why they picked the holiday weekend to do the work. We start with breaking news tonight at 6:30. Police looking for a man who they say shot his neighbor 3 times in a driveway. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. And To the Point, I'm Alex Bell. Now, we have been following this story since it broke just a little after 2:30 this afternoon. Our Garage Paul Senga is live in Arden tonight. And Garage Paul, what do we know that police are looking for right now?
Hey there, Alex, and things have sort of returned back to normal for this neighborhood as the scene has since cleared. The road is back open, but let's go and show you what things look like just a few hours ago. We're here on Edison Avenue, right next to Watts. This is near that Capital City Freeway where I-80 meets that area. So police tell us it happened around 2:20 in front of this apartment complex called the Edison. Sergeant Amar Gandhi with the Sac Sheriff Office told us 2 men who knew each other were arguing in the driveway when the suspect shot the victim at least 3 times. Now, that victim is 63 years old and is in stable condition, currently at the hospital, and luckily is expected to survive. Now, that suspect, however, ran away, and police is trying to find that person. Now, police tell us this is more likely an isolated incident, and here's what else they told us.
Fortunately, right now, we've got a lot of witnesses that are coming forward right now, giving us great information. They're tired of seeing this in their neighborhood. They're tired of seeing this in their community.
And so not a lot of information is being released regarding who this person might be, but police are trying to find out who this person is. And they told us when they can get that information, they will try to pass that along to us. So they're telling us this is an isolated incident. Obviously, a shooting is a very scary situation, but police did say if it was going to happen on any day, they'd rather happen today because we're just a few feet away from Arcade Fundamental Middle School. Luckily, because of Labor Day, no one was in school today. So at least some good news. And also that person who was shot, luckily that person, police tell us, is expected to survive. Alex.
Our Garage Paul Senga live in Arden tonight. Garage Paul, thank you. And the other story we're following tonight at 6:30. Tonight, Stockton police are asking for your help.
Stop fire, I'm shot. I'm taking room.
That's the chilling audio from Stockton Police Sergeant as someone shot him in his squad car just last month. 1 man has been arrested so far in this attempted murder case. And new tonight, police released sketches of 2 additional suspects just hours ago. They are asking for your help in identifying them. Stockton police say they are in their late teens or early 20s. Rebecca Hobbecker has the update on this case.
Alex, Stockton police say detectives have been working tirelessly to identify the remaining of what they believe are 3 suspects involved in this police shooting. The first suspect was identified and arrested just hours after the shooting.
Shots fired.
This Stockton police sergeant was shot in the chest and shoulder in the early morning of August 3rd. The department has not identified him. It happened in a neighborhood near the intersection of East March Lane and North El Dorado Street as he was investigating a carjacking and began chasing a suspect vehicle.
It's very brazen that somebody would actually fire at an officer. That is very scary for us.
I think someone's a coward to shoot at a police officer.
Within hours, a San Joaquin County SWAT team entered an apartment complex near the shooting and detained several people. Later that day, police arrested 20-year-old Santhuan Benny Savan, charging him with the carjacking and attempted murder of the police sergeant.
Did you hear your rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Savan faces a long list of other charges, including committing a felony while on felony probation. He was convicted earlier this year of illegal possession of an assault weapon and sentenced to 2 years probation. Savan was about 4 months into that probation when he was accused of committing these crimes, now facing a sentence of 25 years to life.
Given the seriousness of this crime, the brazen attack on a peace officer, I think enhancements are appropriate in this case. To any sentence, it adds time on to any possible sentence should he be convicted. The man was shot multiple times. You bet we're going to go for life.
3 weeks after the shooting, Stockton police released this surveillance video showing 3 people running from the scene. And now the department has released these sketches of who they believe are the other 2 suspects. As for the sergeant who was shot, the Stockton Police Officers Association says he is a Stockton native and 7-year veteran of the U.S. Army. He is a husband and father to 2 young children and an active member of his church community.
Becca, how is that sergeant doing now?
Yeah, we asked the Stockton Police Department that question. For an update, they say he is doing well and still recovering at home. And of course, anyone with information on these 2 additional suspects can contact the Stockton Police Department.
All right, Becca, thank you so much. The driving ban at Burning Man has been lifted, and a miles-long line of cars, RVs, and everything in between is starting to make the trek out of the northern Nevada desert. Tens of thousands of people have been trapped for days since rainstorms this weekend turned parts of the desert into mud and made the few roads in and out of the festival impassable. ABC News spoke with some of the people stranded there. They say that they banded together to make sure everyone had what they needed.
There's no vendors for food, no. There's just a bunch of really nice people that are sharing what they have. Our camp brings out supplies, and we have kind of a makeshift kitchen where we prepare 2 meals a day.
We know at least 1 person has died during the festival, too. The Pershing County Sheriff's Office says they have reached out to that person's family, but the details about how they died are limited. With Black Rock Desert only about 4 hours away from Sacramento, people from our area make the trip every year. ABC 10's Alicia Machado spoke with some of the people that were there about their time, what it was like, and some of them are still there right now.
Thousands of festival goers trying to leave the northern Nevada desert Monday. Rain pouring down over Burning Man Friday flooded campsites and left behind a mess of mud, trapping many campers inside the festival grounds. As of midday Monday, organizers say around 64,000 people remain on site. Riley Hickman from Davis was at the festival.
Your world shrunk really quickly because of the mud, so it became really difficult to move. You couldn't bike, you couldn't drive. I don't have a car. How can I get out?
Hickman decided to walk this weekend, making his way through the thick, sticky mud in the desert.
I walked out basically with my feet in plastic bags and socks, and the nearest town was like 10, 11 miles away. It's called Gerlach.
Hickman says he walked for about 2 hours until a Good Samaritan passed by.
There ended up being an old-time burner. He showed up with a shuttle. It was just like, I can give you a lift to Gerlach. So really burner spirit, burner mentality of just like, we're going to go and try to help people.
Hickman was able to get a ride from a family friend back to the Sacramento area, but his uncle still trying to get out Monday afternoon in an RV. Sacramento pastor Pamela Anderson also stuck in the mud.
We've been truly cut off from the outside, the rest of the world.
Anderson dealing with a spotty signal as she and others tried to connect with family and friends. But still, they are in positive spirits, making the best of the situation.
There's some vehicles that are stuck. You can see in the distance like an RV stuck. But see, someone's riding a bike. So that gives us hope. Even though the rain came, people may say, oh, the burn stopped. It didn't. We just pivoted.
She says her group has plenty of water and is prepared to get by. Burning Man festivities are set to resume Monday night with the burning of a large structure called the Man. We asked Anderson and her group if with all the challenges this year, they'd recommend Burning Man to people in the future.
All right, and we have also been following the news of a death of a man in his 40s at the festival. Organizers say that his death was not weather-related, and Anderson says a memorial has been made for him at the site. The San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office says this sunken tugboat is leaking fuel into the Delta. They are now working on containing the spill. The Office of Spill Prevention and Response says that they haven't seen any impacted wildlife. All right, still to come, thousands of healthcare workers crowding the streets. They are trying to call attention to key healthcare issues at Kaiser.
Final hours of our Labor Day holiday weekend, wrapping it up with some unseasonably cool conditions. How long this sticks around.
Plus, we're taking a look at the changing healthcare field.
When I graduated medical school, women were 25% of the graduating class, and that was the highest it had ever been at that school.
We'll have my conversations with 4 trailblazers who are bringing their ideas and voices to hospitals right here in our area. All right, check this out. Bad weather making for a scary day in the Yosemite Valley. CHP had to make an air rescue on top of Half Dome. They landed their chopper while battling 50-mile-an-hour winds. They were able to get the injured hiker off that mountain safely.
Wow, you see the cloud cover over there as well. Yeah. So some showers, some cooler weather over the Labor Day holiday weekend. Not necessarily what we're used to, but I didn't hear too many complaints.
Oh, no.
Alex said we had our
Beautiful.
windows open the whole weekend. Yeah, we got the clear skies returning to the forecast, showers moving off to the east there. So we're not going to see too much in the way of wet weather, but these unseasonably cool temperatures, they stick around for a little bit longer. 91 is our average high. You can see we were well below that through much of the holiday weekend. Today, the warmest day at 88, and even that is really mild. Right now, we're in the 80s throughout the valley, 60s along the coast, 70s for the foothills, and 60s up top for the Sierra. So tonight's conditions, absolutely picture perfect. If you're out there for a walk, I was saying feeling the fall fever out there. Our sunset not until 7:31, so we still have roughly about 45 minutes to enjoy this beautiful weather. We've got a bit of a warm-up developing for the weekend outlook, so we stay through much of this short work week with some mild conditions. It's this high-pressure ridge that starts to build back over the west. It's going to be kept in check for the time being, but as we get closer to the weekend, we don't have as many little weather systems moving in from the Pacific to keep that from moving our way with sinking, warming air. Highs in the 70s tomorrow for the Sierra. We're in the 70s and 80s down the hill throughout the foothills. Beautiful time to get up there for a hike. 70s along the coast as we travel inland, still sitting in the 80s to near 90. So it doesn't look like we're really looking at anybody in the triple digits or anywhere close to that. Morning lows in the 50s. Might need a light jacket getting the kids out to school. For the afternoon, though, make sure they have them when they come home. Highs will stay in the 70s for the 5-day forecast in the mountains, 80s for the foothills, and we'll be close to 70 for the coast. Our 10-day forecast for the valley, we've got gorgeous weather here, a little warmer by the end of the weekend.
All right, thanks, Monica. When we come back, my conversations with 4 women leaders, all hospital CEOs, their work at changing the healthcare industry in our area. Welcome back. It's proven that having a diverse workforce can lead to better outcomes. You'll get well-rounded voices, views, and opinions, and that's extremely important when you look at healthcare. Diagnosing, treating, and advocating for patients really comes down to decisions made by only people in the room. It's also why I found it very interesting that out of Dignity Health's 6 hospitals in our area, 4 of them are run by women that I recently had a chance to sit down with. Lisa Hausman, Phyllis Boltz, Tina Johnson, and Gina Bravo are all hospital CEOs.
I think what you're seeing right here is a very unique situation.
They run Dignity Health hospitals in East Sacramento, Folsom, Sacramento, and Woodland.
Being a president of a hospital as an executive female is showing the possibilities to those that there is a pathway.
Trailblazing women who are disrupting the healthcare industry in the best way.
I introduce myself to patients every day and I say I'm Tina and I'm the CEO, and they are taken aback a bit.
Dr. Tina Johnson is the CEO of Dignity Health Mercy General in East Sacramento. She began her career as an ER doctor.
When I graduated in medical school, women were 25% of the graduating class, and that was the highest it had ever been at that school. Fast forward years later, and 50% of medical school graduates are women.
Her support helped create a Women's Heart Center on the Mercy General campus.
Many women delay preventative care that might make a difference for their heart and progression of heart disease.
Delaying preventative care is something Gina Bravo, Woodland Memorial Hospital's first ever female CEO, is familiar with. She was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer during the height of the pandemic.
That I had missed my mammograms for a couple years, not put myself first, not taking care of myself. And it made me look back that I didn't follow all the rules that I tell everybody else as a patient. I was receiving chemotherapy and radiation, I was bald, I was making it to work, and I was offered this job as CEO because somebody still trusted me to take care and to run this hospital.
For Gina, it's a job that she doesn't take for granted.
So it's going to be really important as presidents that we don't plateau women by taking these roles as personal achievements, but we understand that there's a responsibility with these roles to pave the way for the people behind us. I truly believe Our role and our duty isn't these four walls, but it's this entire community.
Women currently make up 70% of the global healthcare workforce, but only hold 25% of the senior roles.
It's a challenge to be able to find the opportunity, be given the chance to progress your career.
Phyllis Boltz, CEO of Methodist Hospital in South Sacramento, says she's learned to be comfortable with the uncomfortable and mentor others along the way.
Especially females who are interested and see that maybe there is a pathway to an executive position down the road.
After 30 years of healthcare administration experience, she knows firsthand that
representation of females in executive positions as part of the decision-making table makes a better, rounded, broader decision-making in an organization, which just only benefits the organization.
I have always reported to men my entire career. And this year, for the first time in my entire life, I report to a woman.
Lisa Hausman is also breaking barriers as the first female CEO of Mercy Hospital in Folsom. She, like her three colleagues, are also known as Mom.
The biggest challenge has been finding balance as a mother and as a CEO of a hospital. And there's not a magic recipe for that. You know, I was just traveling and someone asked me who's watching the kids.
She hopes the legacy she leaves behind paves the way for her own daughter and changes societal expectations.
And I think that mentality is shifting as you see women start to elevate in their careers.
And a quote that reminds her of that,
and it actually kind of gets me emotional anytime I hear it, is that while we haven't shattered the highest, hardest glass ceiling, there are about 18 million cracks in it. And that's, to me, is so important as female leaders that we continue to advocate to make sure that there is diversity at the table.
4 women breaking barriers for the next generation of healthcare leaders. And new tonight, thousands of healthcare workers are protesting outside of the Kaiser Permanente Los Angeles Medical Center on this Labor Day. Workers there are trying to bring awareness to issues they say impact their work, like staffing, better pay, and long patient wait times. Police have arrested nearly 24 protesters for failing to disperse. The union's contract is set to expire at the end of this month, and the union is working on negotiating a new one. Still to come, an update on a major construction project that we've been following all weekend, impacting thousands from Sacramento to San Francisco. Now, you may have gotten today off from work, depending on what you do, but do you know why? This holiday is our country's way of recognizing the contributions of workers and the history of labor unions in the United States, and it's been celebrated since 1882. ABC 10's John Bartel tells us the history of this day.
Industrial Revolution, a time of innovation and job growth. But it was also a time of poor working conditions and child labor. You know who these guys are? But those days were coming to an end, thanks to these two guys. These fine gentlemen are Matthew McGuire and Peter McGuire. Similar name, but no relation.
They both think they invented Labor Day.
Matthew and Peter were both labor rights activists serving on separate labor unions. Peter was a carpenter, Matthew was a machinist, and they both claim to have started Labor Day. Do you like the fact that you didn't have to go to work when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Matt and Peter were on a mission to create standard labor laws. They wanted fair wages, shorter work hours, the option to create a union, and they wanted to end child labor. You know, Labor Day actually has a dark past. In 1882, a group of labor unions held the first Labor Day celebration in New York City. It didn't end well. Many businesses were not fond of the idea of unions taking over. So a massive fight broke out, and several laborers were killed. But eventually, Labor Day did take a hold. President Grover Cleveland made it a federal holiday in 1894.
So this debate on who invented Labor Day has been going on for 100 years. The U.S. Department of Labor, they don't even know which guy actually came up with the idea first.
It wasn't until 1838 that work behind Labor Day really started paying off. During the Depression, Franklin Roosevelt signed the Fair Labor Standards Act, ending child labor and limiting work days to 8 hours.
And finally tonight, some good news. Caltrans says the Carquinez Bridge in Vallejo has reopened ahead of schedule. Caltrans closed the bridge for the whole holiday weekend. They say the closure was meant so they could do the work a little bit faster, opposed to 106 nights of smaller closures. And it turns out they were right. The bridge and the closed section of the highway reopened just before 5 this afternoon. So if you're headed to the Bay on I-80, you'll definitely have a smoother ride. All right, as always, we love to hear what's going on in your community. Make sure you reach out to me and the team. You can always email us at tothepoint@abc10.com. Have a great night. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.